Okay, having said all of this, what are the solutions? Now, I recommend 7 habits for effective writing. What are 7 habits? 7 effective habits for effective writing. First, set up a good day for the intended writing. You basically have to block 2 days, 3 days for the intense writing. Make sure you have it without any interruptions. Set up a good day. You may want to check the calendar looking for a good day. As we say in Chinese, 黄道吉日. You need to find a good day for writing. Second, securing enough time for the intended writing. That means it may not be one day or one morning or afternoon to finish writing. You probably have needed more time. Well, depends on what you write, but you want to make sure you have enough time. That means you have to keep away all other unnecessary engagements or appointments. Stay focused. Be mindful. Thirdly, preparing enough materials for the intended writing. That means before you write, you want to make sure you get all your books, articles, or web information that is easily accessible, so that when the writing you'd have to search around, get yourself frustrated. Fourth, taking a rest when experiencing writing blocks. A writing block is going to show up. You cannot avoid it. You just have to go, let go, go with the trend. As we see in Chinese, have some Taoist wisdom, 因势利导. You cannot, I have to write, I have to finish. Get yourself crazy. No, do not drive yourself crazy. Take a rest, come back, you'll be productive. Fifth, having a thermal expansion and cold contraction process. Now, what is thermal expansion and cold contraction in Chinese? 热胀冷缩. Okay? I'll tell you more about this later. 6, talking aloud your ideas to friends or others. Sometimes when you have ideas, you can just talk to people. The process of talking clarifies your minds, clarify your thoughts. And people give you great feedback. You feel inspired. And this is the typical Einstein approach. I'll tell you this later. And the 7th, answer the so what question. You think you write a great article or great paper, but you need to think back how great it is, what the strength is of the paper. By asking yourself the questions, you'll become sharpened. Your writing will become sharpened. You'll sharpen your thinking. Your perspective will be sharpened for reading. Now, having said all of this, I'll give you some examples. First of all, the Archimedes moment of Eureka. Now, what is this? You know Archimedes? Archimedes in Chinese means 阿基米德. Now, think of Archimedes, what you can think of. Well, it was said in ancient Greek time, the king Sarakukhon commissioned a craftsman to make him a pure golden crown. After the crown was made, the king suspected that the gold crown was not so pure. So he asked Archimedes to test the purity of the crown. Now, this is a tough question. How can you test it? You break it. Of course you can test it after you break it, but after you break it, how can you test it? So Archimedes could not find a solution. It was hard for him until one day when he was taking a bath at a bathtub. He saw the water was spilling out of the bathtub. Then it started dawned on him. Dawned means he got a great idea. It started dawned on him that the volume of the gold crown could be determined by measuring the water spilled out. So excited as he was, he jumped out of the bus stop and ran straight out of the street without even putting his clothes, naked and shouting, "Eureka! Eureka!" You probably heard the story. Okay. This is the Archimedes moment of Eureka. That means I found it. When you're totally relaxed. So the Archimedes moment meant that when one is stressed out of thinking, he or she should take a moment of rest, preferably walking around, running, or taking a shower, or just be in the bathtub. And his moment of Eureka could emerge the same as Archimedes found his truth of Eureka when he's feeling totally relaxed. Finally, you may wonder what the real truth is for Archimedes. Later, he put the golden crown and the same weight of gold into two separate pots, and found that the pot of golden crown got more water spilled out. This shows that the volume of crown is larger than the pure gold with the same weight. You know what that means? That means the gold crown is mixed with other metals, so it is heavier. So this is the Archimedes moment of Eureka. I hope you'll remember this because we all experience moments of Eureka when we feel relaxed out of stress. So next time when you feel stressed of writing, you might as well taking a little break. For me, if I get stressed writing, I would just taking a shower or walk around, keep thinking about my question, and normally when I come out of it, I have some new ideas. This is how I experience my moment of Eureka. Now, this is one story. Another story I want to tell you is about Karl Marx. Karl Marx, we can claim him to be our great teacher or tutor. Now, how he was productive in writing his huge book on Capital. Karl Marx didn't leave a great room. He did not even have his study. So what he did, he went to the British Library. Now, by going to the library, he secured a pleasant place to write. Library, cool, and with so many materials available. Second, he secured full concentration for writing, because in a library, you have to be focused. Okay, you do not think of other things. Third, you could make accessible all the materials needed for writing, because if you get stuck with something, you can just look around and look for the books that you need. And finally, you could make constant the writing process, because by staying in the library, you keep on writing. So the place is hypnotic. Right. So this is how Karl Marx was productive of writing, because he found the right place. It's called British Library, and the British Library became his personal library. You know what it means? Now this is Karl Marx library card. Can you imagine? This was kept by the British Library after all these years. And thirdly, I want to tell you the Einstein's approach. Einstein for theory of relativity. You know how he produced his theory? By talking to his friends, talking to his wife. He has some crazy ideas, but when he talked, if people can understand. When he talked, when people could understand, they will give him feedback, and this will help him to sharpen his thinking. So Einstein loved to talk to people about his ideas. The process of talking is the process of thinking. Of course, you may want to try this, or you may not want to try this, but this is one way that you can be productive writing, because when you talk ideas to others, you could be questioned, challenged by other people's different thinking, and when you debate, it helps with the writing. Remember this. Finally, I want you to know this thermal expansion and cold contraction processing of writing. By thermal expansion, the writer should just keep on writing. Try to finish the draft at one go, no matter how awkward or imperfect it may look at first. So that's thermal expansion. And then by cold contraction, the writer should leave aside the draft or drafted version of the paper for a period of time to detect various problems and inadequacies in the draft, because you need to put it down for some time and you find this problem. When you immediately write it, you could not find it. Third, by stepping away from your writing for some time, you'll be able to look at it with a fresh mind and be able to revise it accordingly. So throughout this hot and cold processing, the paper should look a lot more coherent than the first draft. Remember this. You need to have this thermal expansion and the cold contraction process. This is how you write good paper. So this means if you do a term paper, make sure you start earlier, because you want to give yourself some days to look back. If you do your paper at the last night of the deadline, even though you finish it, when you relook at it, you're going to find some problems, but you cannot make any changes. It needs to be submitted. But when you do this earlier, you could find it. This is how you guarantee a good grade for your work. So this is all it is. Well, in this part, I talk about what writing is all about. Finally, I want you to remember what Ba Jin, a famous Chinese writer, is reflecting what writing is. He said, keep on writing. Otherwise, how would you know what the writing is all about? So keep on writing. And write effectively, and you'll become a good writer eventually. And I wish you good luck. I'm sure gradually you'll be able to write to the best you can. Thank you.